Welcome back YouTube. This video is brought to you by Newtonic. Obviously not made it. Anyway, in today's video, this is a video that might hit home with a lot of people in regards to why you haven't actually started with your fitness journey yet. So we're going to kind of delve into a few reasons as to why people, maybe yourself, are putting things off, like either starting a fitness journey or maybe starting with a coach. So the first reason, and I think a big one for a lot of people, which a lot of the time may be true, but is they'll use the excuse of I can't afford it. Okay, so the truth is, if something is truly important to you, whether that be getting in shape or elite level shape, or just getting generally a little bit healthier, a little bit fitter, you will find a way to make it happen. Money aside, people spend money on shit, let's be honest, okay? They don't need all the time in the world to do a certain goal. It's just a case of, they spend the money elsewhere. And I'm sure if you were to look, not you personally, but just in general, people, if they were to look at their, outgoings and they saw that, they were spending, let's say for argument's sake, £50 a week on takeaways or food out, which is very doable. Subscriptions for things that they don't even realise they're subscribed for. I checked my subscription list the other day and there's about 3 apps that I haven't used for over a year. And nights out as well, especially over kind of the summer period and beer gardens like that, etc. So I think that to kind of reframe it is, instead of saying I can't afford it, ask yourself, how can I afford it? Investing into your health is never a wasted expense. And the old saying goes, the biggest or the best investment that you can make is into yourself. And I stand by that and have stood by that for many, many years, whether that be education, hiring my own coach, gym memberships, supplements, food shops. Like, you'll never get to the end of a coaching journey, if you've got a good coach that is, and say, Christ, that was a waste of money. And I can probably vouch for all of my clients in that realm as well. So maybe it's not a case of you can't afford it. Maybe it's a case of that you're spending your money elsewhere on things that aren't necessarily needed, and you're kind of blaming that reason, the financial reason, because there's maybe a deeper lying issue or a deeper lying reason as to why I can't afford it is always an easy option for people. If you want and are serious about making change, I can guarantee you'll find money to invest into your own health and your physique and your fitness. Reason number 2 is I don't have time. And this, again, is a very common one for a lot of people, and something I thought for a while, I enjoy going to the gym, but I just don't have time to commit to fully, investing into it, whether it be the weekends, food prep, etc. And again, the truth is, if something is important to you, which I hope for a lot of you watching this it is, you will find time, you'll find a way to make it happen. We all have time in the day, and not to go all Molly May on you, but we do genuinely have the same amount of time. Every individual has the same amount of time per day, albeit some people will work later, some people will have children that require their time and attention, of course, and running kids to school clubs and back, etc, etc, etc. But again, we always do have time to watch this video, for example. We always have time to scroll on our Instagram for endless hours per day, which again, if you look at apps like screen time, you'll realize how much time you are spending on your phone. And again, Netflix at night, we've got maybe an hour, 2 hours maybe. Some people have 3-4 hours in the evening where they finish work and they kind of sit down, whatever it is they do, play PlayStation, watch Netflix, watch YouTube, hopefully watching YouTube because you'll be watching this video. But again, that's like 60 minutes where you could be training within the gym, you could be going for a walk, you could be doing some form of cardio. And realistically, most people, maybe not like elite level, will only need around about 45 to 60 minutes a day to kind of change your body, dramatically as well. Not just a case of, I've lost a few pounds. Like, if you can commit a little bit more time and spend a little bit more time away from the screen, the Netflix, the binge watching TikToks, etc., you'll realize how much time you actually do have. And if you weren't to be doing all these things like Netflix, TikTok, if you were just to sit there in that time that you were doing all these extra things, you realize, shit, I've got actually quite a bit of time, even outside of work and family life. So I think the main question is how much does it mean to you? A lot of people say that they want results, but a lot of people aren't willing to put the work or time in to get the results. It's all well and good saying, oh, I'd look like him if I had the amount of time that he does, or I'd be able to lose that much weight if I had more time. You've got time, trust me. Number 3 is I don't know where to start. And this is actually quite a common one and something that I can massively relate to, especially in the early stages of my lifting career or physique development career. Is like, where do I start? Do I bulk? Do I cut? Do I need to do cardio? Should I push my foods up? Should I do this split? Should I do that split? And a lot of confusion can lead to just inaction. You know, instead of just maybe asking for help or committing to a certain phase, people just think, oh, you know what, fuck it, I'll find out in a few weeks, or I'll do it again in a few months, and it just leads to nothing. It leads to not starting anywhere. So instead of kind of just wasting frivolous hours of guessing and should I be doing this, should I be doing that, instead find a solution. You know, instead of wasting months guessing, get a structured plan from someone who obviously has done it before, whether that be for their clients or themselves. Hint. And obviously, you know, the internet, ChatGPT, AI, there's loads of free information out there for you nowadays. And albeit, you know, and this, why do I always say the same things in these videos? This will be a video for again. But genuinely, AI, ChatGPT, etc., yes, they can give you a plan, but obviously they're not going to hold you accountable and tell you when to make the right changes, and they won't kind of interact with you on that personal level. The internet has free information, but essentially a coach will give you a clear, proven strategy that's personalized for yourself, most importantly, not just a generic one. Number 4 is, again, a common one and something that maybe held me back for quite a few years, is I'm afraid of failing. I think a lot of people are scared to start because it might not work for them. But the one thing that definitely won't work for them is not starting at all. So the truth is, the real failure is never starting. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to start, okay? And I think a lot of people chase perfection. I mean, they think, oh, well, now is not the right time because I've got, you know, a work event coming up and then I'm going on holiday in 3 weeks, and oh, actually after that it's my wife's birthday, so there's never going to be a perfect time to start. And I always say to people who jump on kind of discovery calls with myself that they'll say, like, you know, they plan on signing up, and they'll say, yeah, I want to start as soon as I can, but I've got a wedding in 3 weeks, or I've got a holiday in 2 weeks. And I just say, like, that's 2 or 3 weeks that you're just still not going to be moving or making progress. Like, if we start, you know, this week, you can get a 3-week head start. You can make 3 weeks worth of progress. And I'm sure you'd rather add that 3 weeks at the start than like at the end, when again, inevitably things are going to get busier and busier. So there's never going to be a perfect time to start. It doesn't matter when you do start. It's just a case of starting in some form of way. Okay. If you wait for the perfect time, you'll be waiting forever. I think we can relate very much so nowadays that we don't, you know, we're not in, well, maybe some of you are, we're not in high school anymore, where we have like 6 weeks off over the summer, where we can, you know, relax and have a bit more time to gather our thoughts and commit. Life's always going to be busy. There's always going to be something on. So I think never be afraid to start because you think you're going to fail or it's not the right time. Just start, because if you have a good coach, they will help guide you through that busy period of life and help navigate you through it, so that if you do have a rare, you know, quieter time, Christ, it's going to feel so easy. So yes, one of my biggest piece of advice is for anyone that's thinking about starting with a coach, is start when you're going through a busy period. You know, they're going to be able to help you navigate through that. They're definitely going to be able to help you through a quieter period in life as well. And I think number 5, which is probably the biggest one, is I'm just not ready to change. You know, the truth is, you say you want results, but are you willing to make the changes to get them? I think doing the same things that has got you to where you are today is only going to get you to where you are today. If you want to see further progress in life, you have to start doing different things, whether that be different way of training, different methodologies within the gym. If you've been doing 3 sets of 10 for the past 5 years on pretty much the same weights, you're probably not going to build any more muscle tissue. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news. If you haven't had a coach before, this is going to get you further results. And again, if you haven't taken your nutrition seriously before, this, you know, is what's going to get you to that next level. And I think a lot of people will say, yeah, you know, I've been going to the gym for 5 years, and you know, I know what I'm doing in the gym, blah, blah, blah. Heard it all before. And I think they expect that this kind of same consistent pattern that they've been trying for 5 years is all of a sudden, 1 week, magically going to work. And I can tell you now, hand on heart, you're not going to wake up one morning and be like, fuck, I'm jacked. Like, it's just not going to happen. And that's just the reality of it. You can't keep eating the same way, missing workouts and making excuses while expecting a different outcome. So again, I think Chris Williams says this very, very well. The magic that you're looking for is in the work that you're avoiding. And I love that quote because it is very true. I think everything that you are striving towards in life, it's there, it's in reaching distance. It's just a case of you're avoiding the hard work that gets you to that point. So yeah, quite a few good actionable points, and I think the one that I'm going to leave you with is your life won't change until you do. Okay, the sooner you commit, the sooner you'll see results. I think a lot of people are very much sat on the fence nowadays when it comes to either starting a fitness journey, taking their fitness journey more seriously, or even signing up to a coach, because it's just, it's the unknown. Will it work? Skepticism. What if it doesn't work? What if it's a waste of money? What if it's a waste of time? What if it means I can't live my normal life and socialize? If you've got a good coach, all these things will be possible, okay? And you will get the result that you have always desired. And that's the biggest turning point for me, was kind of dropping the ego. And me as a PT and a coach myself for years, I've had 3 or 4 coaches now over the past 7 or 8 years, albeit some of them, or one of them, I feel like I'm gonna have to call this guy out one day. Not the best, but the other 3 coaches that I've had has allowed me to make progress in the gym, outside of the gym, and essentially bring the best version of me today, physically and mentally. So again, a lot of these might be like, it's a financial cost, or, it's going to require time. But again, if you're watching this video, I can guarantee you've clicked on it because it can relate, you can resonate to it. And I think sometimes you just have to take that kind of leap of faith and push yourself outside the comfort zone, which again is something that many people just sit and almost wait for something different to happen, like it's going to happen to them if they just wait patiently. It's not. It starts with action, and then it leads to motivation, and then the results come. Thank you for watching, guys. If you've liked this video, please leave a comment below, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.